Morning everyone, welcome to this week's video. I'm going to pick up this week where I left off last week. I'm going to see if I can make my sing a bit more. I'll film what I can get down this morning. I've been just playing with some of the smalls. That one, just adding in the tiniest, smallest thing can make a difference, can shift work. So I've got the ultimate juxtaposition going off here. I'm working tiny, tiny small bits on the smalls, and I'm working big. I really like that. It's never dull, it's never boring. I come in, I might not know what I want to do initially, but I just roam around for a bit and then I get going. Something will get your eye. I'll find my apron and oof, we can get going. I could while this is, I will. I've got a mind to, if I grab it, I've got a piece of that. It's just going to give me a very faint bit of marking. The tricky thing here is looking at that, and that, because they're all quite different. So I've got to be really careful, or just accept that it's going to be an amalgam of the three things. It would be so boring if I showed this in real time, but I haven't got my watch, I haven't got anything, any clock or anything to know. Might be interesting exercise actually. Yes, to start seeing the point at which something says to me, stop now, and move on to something else. And I'm not sure how long I've been going, but something is saying to me, okay, enough, just stop now, because the initial engagement I find is good if I keep the time not too long. I don't want to get carried away. I want to come in and have a look at this fresh again tomorrow. It's 4 o'clock. I worked this morning. I'm really aware that I'm going slowly, for me, slowly, slow and steady on this one. I'm really enjoying the very, very limited palette, the greys and the whites, the tints, the tones. Yeah, I don't want to take it too far away from what I've got. And I knew, it's so funny, as soon as I got the bones of this down, I knew it just came very, very quickly. I've just been going through my little stash of books, and we have a trip coming. This is a Montmartre A5 landscape. It's 150 GSM. Sketching journal. It's not too heavy. There's a little bit of a tooth on it, which might be quite nice. I will get some browns down on these pages, put some collage in, and take that along for the ride. So I've brought up, right, rewind. I've shown before my packets, my zippy bags of collage material. I don't know what I've done with the medium-sized bag, but I spent quite a chunk of time emptying out all the unwanted. I am left with, obviously, the main pile would be yellow and green. I've got yellows and greens and bits of red, pinks. I particularly love tissue paper, and it's all glued together, but that's still usable. That's very usable. So there's a little selection. I'm just going to tip it out, tip it off there. I'll bring the camera over and I'll drop it down. So this was a little bit of watercolour, one of the watercolour tubes with acrylic, quite thickly put down so that I could scratch through. And then I've put down a piece of that tissue. I've got plenty of this lovely yellow and green. This is Potter's Pink. What have I got? It's quite nice to have a bit of texture. So I've nothing in mind because I don't know. I have no clue what I'm going to be. Oh gosh, that needs snipping. I can't bear wasting any tiny amount of paint. Look at all that's in there. The paint will also help just to fix down any little raggy edges that you might have. So I can leave that in quite thick, pasty format. I'll leave that to dry this morning, and if they dry sufficiently, the pages won't stick. The other thing I do is when I cut the tubes, I just clip them up. Regular Earl Grey this morning, not too strong. I'm thinking I'm going to stay in still life, do another charcoal. I really, really like that very neutral colour palette. Cheryl, if you're watching, hi. Cheryl said she's excited to explore her own expression. I thought that was really nice. That's lovely, very joyful. I think I found my next still life project. I've got baskets up high. The whole lot's just come down as I've tried to just gently ease one off. I have worked a little bit more on the flowers on the sink, but I'm keen to get another charcoal started, so I'll set that up. My makeshift workstation is a stool with a cushion and a board and obviously my paper clip to it, and there's the basket on the table. So that's what that's my setup. Okay, willow charcoal. First attempt, those feel pretty dry. This is called Ivory. Dry. I've got my charcoal up and I can see that the handle's not quite right and some of the proportions are a little bit off, but I'll have another go at that. Yesterday afternoon I thought I must share this. I had a little window of opportunity to come in, and I've been moving things. I've moved the table back a smidge. I can still just about work on my big board, but it's given me more space for that little charcoal area, which really pleased me. And I put these up, came in and thought, oh, I'll have a go with the pink ink. The culprit pink ink. I opened it and it kind of wobbled out over here and continued to splat all down this one and all over the floor, all into the trolley. I think the problem is you can't get the lid off and then all of a sudden it goes and everything goes with it. But I'll leave that and I'll probably cut the painting here. I might do a bit of something at the bottom. And then, so that little disaster led me to this morning, and I've had a late start this morning, using the white ink to highlight some of the petals. And that's currently wet and on the run, so we'll see what that's like. But it's really nice, you know, when you re-engage with something that's just been patiently waiting. Another idea that I had, or another thought that came to mind, I always work on large rectangular sheets for charcoal work or any preliminary work, and it suddenly just dawned on me yesterday, why don't I cut the paper to the size of the canvas? So if I'm working on a square, why don't I cut my paper to that size, and it will help me when I come to translate onto canvas. So that was just one of my thoughts yesterday. What I probably will do now with the basket, I'll probably fix that. Somebody asked me in the comments, what do I use? I've had this for the longest time. It's a Dale Rowney Perfect's colourless fixative. I'll come really close so you can see. If I fix it, I can work with acrylics and other mediums on there. Okay, lunch. I've been sidetracked this morning answering really lovely messages on Instagram, as well as obviously the YouTube feed, and I am really so very, very grateful. Quite often miss messages on Instagram. I just don't seem to check the phone enough. I was thinking about what other still life have I done, and I've done plenty of drawing, and I was thinking about paintings, and this is a series. If you've been following me, I think I filmed this so long ago. I had 6 boards on my table that I worked in a very abstract way, and then decided I'd make them. I can't even remember. I just called that one Study. They were just tables and chairs, and I just keep pushing them to the back. And I had the opportunity. I could have taken them for exhibition this year, and something is just saying no, no. And I think I now know what the no is. Yesterday, I put in some black and white to get some contrast going, because I think the problem is, particularly when you stand back and you see them as a series, they're all mid-tone. There's very little. I know I've got a little bit of light, that they don't jump out. And from a distance, I think I'd like them just to jump a bit more than they do now. So I experimented. I very, very carefully masked up the edges. It's a semi-abstract attempt at still life. I'm really fired up to see what I can do, see where I can take the others. I've got 3 up here because 1 will not play. I need to have a complete rethink on the 4th. But I do think they pop a bit more now. I'm at the point now where, and I think I have been for a couple of days, where I don't need my prompts. The painting, I'm sure you all find that when you start the painting, it's great, and then you get to a point and the painting starts to speak for itself. I can step back and just tweak around. I think my painty hands are dry enough. Another careful masking up job. This has been sitting down and for a little while in the house, and this morning it caught my eye, and I knew there were some areas that needed finishing off that I wasn't really happy with. I came in this morning and that was the first thing I did. Don't ask me why. I decided I'd put that in as another layer. I've got so many things on the go, but this morning my feeling is I will move my sink and I will see what I can do with that. I try and stop and I can't stop, so I kept going, and And I know, I want to take the masking tape off, but I know it's wet. I'm just too impatient. I've got one lovely viewer who who I frustrate so much because I go back into things and I should leave things alone. I can't leave things alone. Once I've had a thought, I've had an idea, I've got to give it a try. And the more you give things a try, you learn, don't you? You learn. You can say to yourself, well, I've fluffed it, I've wrecked it, but it's okay, because you can go again. You can always go again. But I'm quite happy there with him this morning, and I'm really liking these. That would be nice. These would be nice on those pages to take. These are my ugly tube. Don't care for that at all, but I like these. Just little bits. That was too heavy. That will be good fun to draw on, and maybe too much there. I really like these two, and that would work nicely as a ground. And that's as far as I've got. So I was wondering, what could I do then on these muddy? It got too muddy. So I'm just going to have a go. I'll let that dry and come back in. Where there's no paint, these really strong markers will come through. You can quite nicely work over even the dodgiest sort of bit of background. Lunchtime. I think I'm going to end here this week. I've this morning worked a little bit more on this one. I'll put the photo in. And not too much more to go there. I demasked, and I'll probably mask again just to finish off. This has helped me with the disaster. It's still a bit of a disaster, but I'm working on it, and I'm going to give the other two a reprieve. I'm not going to touch them. I'm going to let them be busy, too bold. On Instagram, I dropped in a post of Beach Baby. I'll put a picture in. A beach scene finished. And this one's coming in close behind, actually. I'm really enjoying the beach paintings at the moment, so a little bit more to go there. The sink, I'll drop a picture in. When I moved it, I noticed I hadn't registered it at all here. I moved it to my left and noticed that the back wasn't straight at all. I don't mind that it's not right, it's proportionally right, but the back line was driving me bonkers. So I've tried to adjust that. Whatever you're doing this week, whether it's painting, drawing, collaging, out and about, in situ, have a really good week, and I will see you next time. Thank you for watching and all the lovely comments. Thank you. Bye.